Welcome to Driving Immersion for the immersive racing experience.
You can hear the Australian fans roaring as they line the track here in Albert Park. Welcome to Melbourne, and the roar from the crowd can only mean one thing. It's race day.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'd really like to get the channel up to 1,000 subscribers.
So here we are at Albert Park Circuit, 3.28 miles around, with the streets making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 14 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. The captain lines up on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Oscar Piastri, Verstappen, Kobayashi, Russell, Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Hamilton, Gasly, Stroll, Ricciardo, Albon, Tsunoda, Bottas, Joe, Hülkenberg, Magnussen, and Logan Sargent. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And alongside me for this afternoon's commentary, Naomi Schiff. Good afternoon, mate. As we all know, every single driver wants to know what's required of them. And in the case of this driver, I think things are pretty stable at the moment. They're doing what the team require.
Absolutely. We're certainly seeing a driver that feels a lot more comfortable and confident within the team. And that comes from that stability and being settled into what we can now see as a clear role within the team. It's so important for a driver to know where they stand, because sometimes when you don't know exactly where you stand, you can easily overdrive or even put too much pressure on yourself. So I think they'll be able to focus on the smaller details during the race today.
Here we are in Melbourne in Australia for the Australian Grand Prix. And I promise you will want to stick around for this race. Very exciting and very close. Here is our pit strategy. And the original asks for a 2-stop. We are going to switch for a 1-stop because our wear during the practice sessions was actually pretty low. And we are going to stretch this medium yellow tire, and it's going to show that we're just under 8 seconds slower with this strategy than with the 2-stop. And then we are going to extend our hard tire at the end, reduce our fuel down to just 1.5 extra laps. And here is a brief look at our setup. You can pause the video if you want to take a look at it and study it in detail. But it is based off of the balance preset with a little bit of modification to the tire pressures. So here we are on the grid in pole position, our first time in several years of racing in Formula One.
Okay, how was that pull away? You'll have a bit more grip than that on the start, but we need to warm the tyres properly now. Make sure you get some heat into the brakes as well.
So coming in through the chicane of turns 1 and 2, you're going to have to take a big bite out of the curbs, so that you can have a lot of speed here in the first DRS section. Very slow right-hander into turn 3. Balance the power and squeeze on as you accelerate out to turn 5 here to the right. And again, take advantage of the curb on the left and the right as you exit. Exit here is very important as we are going to take on the sweeping straight, entering our second DRS zone. Coming into turn 9 here to the left, we're going to ride the curb on the left. Exit in turn 10, ride the curb on the right. And if you've done it right, you'll end up on the apron on the left. again through another DRS zone, and there are 4 of them here with the reformatting of the track a couple of years ago. And you got to see the very tall curb there on turn 11. Turn 13 here, again very slow. 2nd gear, 3rd gear. And exit through turn 14 through the main straight as we slow to form the grid. Again, very happy here and fortunate to be starting off with the pole position, our first in 4 careers. So we'll see how this goes, if we can make it stick.
Parking there, nice one. That's going to give you the edge if you can get good launch as the...
Wait for lights out. And it's a go. You can see there that the orange McLaren behind us got the jump on us just a half a second, maybe too slow. And you can see here that Lando Norris got ahead before turn 1. Coming in through turn 3 and turn 4 here to the left. So here are the standings just off the start. That is Lando Norris with his teammate behind us. Coming in through turn 11, again the very big sausage curb there on the right. And turn 12 here, I believe they had widened that out with the reconfigurement of the track. Used to be very slow. And we are going to exit turn 14 on the curb and to the left.
DRS now enabled. DRS enabled.
So we've got a good run here on Lando Norris as we come in through turn 1 and turn 2. Into the DRS zone. We easily get by because we outbrake ourselves, and you can see that he gets back in the first place. We chase them down between 8 and 9, and again we have our DRS available. So if you get a quick look at the shot behind, we have the McLaren of Lando Norris, the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, and the driving immersion of our teammate Kamui Kobayashi in 4th place.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Looking back at the field from the T-cam of the number 66 driving immersion. shot from turn 13 and 14. There is the pit entrance to the right. And having a good look at the field here, you can see there are still a few cars bunched up behind the number 66. Off into the grass into turn 4, and you can see here that Lando Norris takes advantage of it. On board from the T-cam of Max Verstappen. Now the nose cam, and that is the number 66 just behind Lando Norris in the McLaren. Into the DRS zone. Again, there are 4 DRS sections here, and you can see there that the number 66 outbraked himself again. Meanwhile, Lando Norris was able to keep his composure and drive by.
Overdriving the car a little bit here.
Now you saw there on the straight that the ability to activate the ERS manually and anywhere on the track brings another level or another dimension to racing here, as it did several years ago when we can also activate the fuel mixture. So it's good to see that come back. So back to leading the field, you can see here that the cars behind have their DRS open and they are jostling for position. We can see here that our teammate's still in tow. And just behind him, the McLaren of Oscar Piastri. I believe that is Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes behind him. On board now with Kamui, as we get a bird's eye view of the racing just ahead. So between turns 8 and 9, he should have his DRS open. And so does Max Verstappen just ahead. Back on board with the 66. Here now on lap 6, Max Verstappen has the fastest lap so far. Having a look at our HUD here to the lower right of the screen, you can see our brake bias is set to 54, and you always want to check that. In recent races, we've come onto the track hoping that our setup had modified that, but after a quick look, it turns out to be 50-50, which is not how we drive. I believe some people will drive with a 50-50 brake bias. but we're usually between 54 and 55, maybe 56. And for the more curvy tracks, we'll bring that down to about 52 sometimes. So this is Max on board his rear bumper. You can see here that he got around Lando Norris. Coming in through turn 12. Still having a few cars in tow. It's not the usual getaway as you'll see in today's Formula One. But this is going to make today's race very exciting.
I do feel the stars are starting to go.
At the beginning of lap 10, we are still in the lead after a few skirmishes with Lando Norris. Just 0.8 seconds behind with Max Verstappen racing him at every turn. And not too far back, our teammate Kamui Kobayashi. Having a look around the track, you can see here that the shadows are long as the race actually takes place later in the afternoon here in Australia. The color of the sun has a little bit of a golden glow, but it's definitely a warm afternoon. We're paying attention to the close racing between these two, Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, as they come around turn 14. I believe both cars will still have DRS. Lando Norris should still have DRS from the 66. There it is. You can see his wing close up. And we'll see it. Nope, not this time. Didn't open. And you can see here that Max has an advantage over him as we come into turn 4. But not enough to get by. On board the rear of Lando Norris's McLaren, that's Max Verstappen as they go from turn 8 to turn 9 in the DRS zone. Very fast sweeper to the left, quick flick to the right, entering another DRS zone. And this is the third zone of the circuit. Very slow into turn 12. So Max should have his DRS open, but not enough speed that time around.
They're coming up. I'm trying to save fuel.
So having a look at the data on the steering wheel, we did start off with plus 1.5 laps of surplus fuel. You can see that we are down to 1.10 or 1.1. After just 12 laps, so we are trying to see if we can save a little fuel here near the midpoint of the race, just in case we have to get into full racing at the end. So there are a few turns here that where you can see the 66 actually upshift early or lift off before the turn. This is Lando Norris now looking at the 66. And he will have his DRS available to him this time through. There he is, you can see the open wing. Turn 1, turn 2. And looking at the standings, it looks like our teammate had stopped in the pits. Now down to 16th place. So he must have started on the reds. Unless he had a broken wing. But we didn't see anything happen. Having a look back at the McLaren and the Red Bull, you can see here in Australia we have a nice afternoon. Partly cloudy, but certainly it's going to look like a dry race. And that sun is golden brown. Lap 14 now, you can see here that
So
we
I'm
have...
going to be good on my tires again for this race.
lap 14. You can see here that we got the fastest lap so far. And we are stretching it a little bit between the 66 and the McLaren of Lando Norris. Coming in through turn 9 here to the left and turn 10 to the right, you can see we still have the McLaren and the Red Bull in tow, and it doesn't look like we're going to get away. So as we saw with our teammate, if you did start off with the soft tires, the red stripe tires, you would be coming in to change out of those by now. See here that Lando Norris has the yellow tires as we do, and I believe Max Verstappen also has the medium tires. Actually, a quick look at Lando Norris. I believe he does have the hard tires on, the white stripe tires. So he's definitely on a different pit strategy. And for having the hard tires on, he's actually racing pretty fast. Challenging the number 66 here through turn 11. Coming in through 13. These two still very close. Max Verstappen with a set of the mediums as well. And both of these cars should have their DRS open to the number 66 at the very front. Turn 1, you want to ride that curve to the right and to the left into turn 2. Exit out on the apron. Activate your DRS. Turn 3 here to the right. 10-4, you want to hold the throttle until the exit, and you're going to keep your foot down here through turn 6. Turn 7 here to the right, a quick lift. And between 8 and 9 is a very good place to use your ERS boost button, and you'll see your car get up to top speed. very close here, and if you remember, our pit stop strategy is for a one stop. We are trying to take these medium tires, I believe, to lap 30 or so. Yes, another quick look at Lando Norris's McLaren. He does have the hard tires on. He should be able to last longer on the track. However, I think the reason why he's not been able to make his passes stick is because he's got these hard tires on and we have the mediums. And we may see his advantage come to fruition once we come in to change out of these tires, but that's not for another 10 laps or so.
Charles Leclerc is out of the race.
Here is Max Verstappen coming to change out of his medium tires. And you can't quite see what he put on. Another set of mediums. So it's a two-stop race for Max Verstappen as he exits the pit lane. He will have a Ferrari and the other Red Bull of Sergio Perez just behind him. It might be Alonso and the Aston Martin behind both.
So Norris is on the hards.
Coming down the main straight on lap 20, you can see here now that Lando Norris in the McLaren is getting to be a little bit racy as our medium tires are starting to decline. His hard tires should still be at their peak. Again, all of this is based on strategy planning and having a foresight to see how the race unfolds as we go on. Now, I don't believe that we are going to stick these tires on until lap 30. I think it may be lap 26 if you look back at the pit strategy. Back on board with the 66. You got to see there that, that there's Lando Norris coming in to change out of his hard tires.
Looks like he came in. Yep, Norris is in the pits.
Might be a little bit early. And he is going to put on another set of hard tires, so maybe poor planning here. Don't know what their strategy
So this one
is.
stop is actually going to cost me an extra 8 seconds. Actually 7.9 or so.
So Lando Norris will be due for another pit stop as they've got to use two different kinds of compounds. Having put on a second set of the white hard tires.
But if we have a slow pit stop, and we do 2 stops, it will certainly eat up that 7.9 seconds.
Yes, one thing to note here in Formula One is the overall time it takes for the car to complete the number of
Tyre
laps
condition still looking good.
is going to help determine placement. Obviously, if there's a car slower than you in front, it's going to destroy that part of the strategy. But as you can see here that we are running free and clear, we can count on the amount of time that we had calculated based on our 1 lap. So having a look down the track, you can see here that perhaps everybody else has stopped while we are still on track. Again, now I think back, I believe our pit stop for this set of tires is going to be on lap 26, so 4 more laps. Don't have any challengers just behind us. Max Verstappen is the closest car at 14 seconds, and he did stop for a set of hard tires. From the cockpit of the number 66, you can see here that we've widened our field of view just a little bit. We're also using track IR for head tracking to simulate the look to apex, which is not very strong in the settings here for F124. There's also the simulation of the helmet lean. As the driver turns into the turn, his helmet will lean in. And having a look at the HUD on the upper left, Max Verstappen has just turned in a very fast lap. And I believe he's reduced his deficit by almost 3 seconds within just a couple of laps. So right now, with the set of mediums that we have on that we started the race with, we are starting to lose a little bit of time. But again, our strategy here is to stretch these tires as long as we can so that we only have to stop once.
Lost a lot of time on that lap.
Approaching the pit window now, and you're going to be on hards next time.
Oscar Piastri with the fastest lap now. So yes, on the lower right of your screen, you can see here our lap strategy, or our pit strategy, calls for the car to come in on lap 26. I thought it was lap 30, but we have a window up to lap 33. Coming in at lap 26, I believe these tires are still above 50%, so there's still a good life in them. Very wide through 13. Sorry, 11. last couple of laps that we've been going around, we've had to race with no one, and when that is the case, it kind of gives you this false belief that you have all the time in the world as you try to cut the curves just perfectly. Touch the curb there on the right, on the left, and in all actuality, you are losing a lot of time to the cars that are certainly coming. Having a look at the timing on the steering wheel, we are a half a second behind now. And that is all very different from when you have somebody behind you or just in front of you, as you are not thinking about having the car in the right place as you're going around. You're just trying to maximize speed and limit time. 0.6 seconds behind on this lap. And mind you, that's still pretty good, as that time is based on our fastest lap around the track. And as you can see, they're coming out of 13 and 14 in the previous years of F1 with Codemasters.
Windows open, so let's box this lap.
With Codemasters and now EA coming out of 13 and 14, it all has been very challenging, as the car will struggle for rear tire grip as you accelerate out. But now with F124 and the handling model, it does grip very well, and all you have to do is concentrate on creating the fastest lap around the track, placing the car at the right place.
Lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
Having a look at the HUD now on the lower right of the screen,
Very
you can
bumpy
see
track.
the left rear tire is at 33% wear.
Be able to feel the understeer.
And the left front is at 27%, which is still very manageable. And again, we could probably keep these tires on till lap 33. But you can see just in the picture there, Max Verstappen with a new set of tires has made his way all the way up. So we are going to have to change out of these now. Oh, a little bit big lock up there as we try to bring the car down to speed.
Very slick.
And we hit one of the foam pit boards. So a decent pit stop. Again, with F1 now with the simulated pit stops, you have to turn in at the correct place and time into the pit box. If you don't, there is a slight penalty created, about 1.5, maybe 2 seconds sometimes. And that is precisely the reason why we decided to go with a one-stop. Because if you come in and make those mistakes, not turning in
a lot of time on that stance
at the right time or coming into the pit box, you're going to lose a lot of time. So the 7.9 that we are losing based on going longer on these stints is far better than the time penalties for driving into the pit box. And that's certainly something to consider as you're lapping around. Again, there is the race with the other cars here on the track, but there is also the race with the amount of time that it's going to take you in the car to complete the full 58 laps of this race. And every race here in Formula One having a challenge here with one of the Mercedes. I believe that is that's George Russell. Yes, it is. Well, I see a little yellow there on the helmet, so that may be Lewis Hamilton. We'll have
to up there with Hamilton.
Yeah, it's Lewis Hamilton. And between the two Mercedes, Lewis has the yellow on his helmet, and George Russell has the light blue or the aquamarine. So after our first and only pit stop, we find ourselves in 6th place. Our teammate ahead, and he did stop earlier on by about maybe 7 or 8 laps. So he's got a set of mediums on, and we've got a set of hard tires. We'll see how long it takes to catch up to him. I believe that's him just disappearing in the distance there. As the driving immersion car looks predominantly white from far away. Yes, it is. Right now, with this new set of hard tires, we are a half a second faster than our fastest lap. And looking at the other data on the steering wheel, we are now at a surplus of 1.19 laps. So we were able to conserve a little bit of fuel on the last stint, and we are going to race hard now as we are coming to the close of the race, past halfway point. So this section here between 7, 8, and 9, after 2 years, still not used to it and very confused as we go through there. We still expect a couple of turns in between. Here we are now ending the lap 29. We are just behind our teammate by about a half a second. On board with Kamui Kobayashi in the other driving immersion.
Out of the race.
Looking back at the 66. So far we've got 2 cars out of the race. First Charles Leclerc and now Yuki Tsunoda. Didn't see exactly what happened to them. It's possible they may have retired in the pits with mechanical failures. No accidents so far with a safety car. As we handily make our way around Kamui, you can see with the proximity arrow there that we are now ahead of him.
Head around my teammate.
And when an indicator is red, that means they are...
So gap to the car ahead, 13.7 seconds.
They are beside you or near your side, so you might want to stay and keep your lane.
That was probably Tsunoda.
Yeah, I believe there was a car there on the side to the right. So we don't have a full course yellow or a safety car. They may be able to get that car out even before the next time we come around. Coming in through 13 now, and then 14 to the right. That is going to finish lap 30. On the nose cam of Yuki Tsunoda, that is the 66 just ahead, coming in through 1 and 2, approaching turn 3. Back on board with the 66. 2:31. We are in 5th place. Seconds ahead, we have Oscar Piastri with George Russell in the Mercedes. Our teammate behind by about 1.5 seconds. So looking at the data on the steering wheel, we have a surplus.
No issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them.
1.22 laps of fuel. We've already made our last pit stop with a set of hard tires on the car now. So we are looking to finish the race as we stand. That is Kamui Kobayashi just behind us, falling slowly behind. We have about 5 or 6 laps on this set of hard tires, so they should be at peak now, and we should be able to drive them hard. We suspect Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, the 2 cars that we were racing with earlier in the race, will have to come in again for a pit stop. And right now they are about 15 seconds ahead. So if the timing is right, we may just be racing with them again. Helicopter, turn 13 and turn 14. Again, the pit entrance to the right. Tires in very good condition. We've got the fastest lap of the race so far as we come around turn 13. This lap we are about a second behind our fastest lap, and we continue to make fuel.
12.0 seconds. Behind starting to drop back. There's a gap beginning to form. Let's make the most of it.
Having a look at the standings on the upper left of the screen, you can see there that our teammate must have come in again for a pit stop, as Lewis Hamilton had gotten around him along with Carlos Sainz. Going between turns 8 and turn 9 here, we are heavy on the ERS, and you can see that the engine will rev all the way up in 8th gear. But in the field, we do have one of the most highly developed powertrains amongst the other teams, as we started this career as a top runner team. And that gave us a lot of income or funds to start the car with, or to start the team with, and we were able to put a lot of
fastest lap of the race.
Development on the powertrain. Fastest lap again. And we continue to maintain our fuel. I think near the second half or the last quarter of the race, the vehicle, obviously because it's lighter now with fuel, burns less fuel, so that's kind of a calculation that you have to put in. Unfortunately, it's hard to determine at the beginning of the race where you're going to be as far as having to race with the other cars. And one thing you don't want is to be short on fuel when you have another car racing with you for position. This is Piastri and George Russell coming in through turn 11. They are just ahead of the number 66. Piastri here 9 seconds ahead of the 66. And we are watching for the cars ahead, and there's 4 of them, to see if any of them will come in to change out of their tires. These two, having a set of yellows, may not make it to the end, so it's possible that these 2 cars have been on the 2-stop strategy all along. And it's very possible that you could stretch the medium tires, the yellow tires that you see on these cars, for 2 stints and have very fast lap times. And before the finish of the race, you can come in for your second stop and change out of them, just to put on a set of hard tires to meet the requirements of using 2 different compounds. There is chronologically an advantage to that if the car is fast enough with the set of the mediums.
Making time.
So you can see there that Piastri get around George Russell, and they are now just 7 seconds ahead. We have been making time to get up to the front, and Piastri is coming in after having passed Russell to change out of this set of mediums. And we'll see what he puts on. It looks like he's putting on a set of hard tires, just as we thought, to finish the race and meet the requirements.
We're racing with him. He's on a set of cold, hard tires. Now's the time.
The car ahead of you's just fitted the hard tyres. Car ahead now on the hard compound.
Close with Verstappen. He did come in and change out, and you can see that we were able to get around him just very easily, as his tires will come into
I did bump him,
warm up,
but there was no damage indicated.
have about 3 or 4 turns up ahead just to make more time on him before his tires will warm up, and he will begin to challenge us.
Still in my DRS.
There is the Mercedes. I believe that is Russell coming to change out, and he will put on a set of hard tires. So far the front runners are using the 2-stop strategy. We saw a orange car flash ahead, and again that is Piastri. So back out of the pits for George Russell, and still racing with Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. Back to the 66.
So that is Norris. He is 11 seconds ahead. That is the lead. He's on a set of hard, so I believe that will be it. Driver in front.
Lando ahead. Okay, gap ahead, 11.0 seconds. Okay, they're on old hard tyres. Their tyres are 18 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. And the time last lap, 1:24.9. You're gaining by 1.6 seconds a lap.
So that is quite a lot of time that he's losing to us with the 18 lap hard tires that he's got on. It looks like a big bump there from Verstappen. I did see pieces fly off. Again, there is no indication of damage on our car, and we're going to keep racing here. But if Lando keeps losing time, you can see there that Verstappen is getting faster as his tires warm up, and he is just beside us at the end of the straight, and he's going to be racing us as hard as he can until the end of the race. Our tires older than
back,
his.
Quite a ways on that. Turn 1 and 2.
Now back to Lando Norris up ahead. If he is losing 1.5 seconds a lap, he's going to have to come in and change out of those tires. So if he does come in, it's very possible that it will put him behind the number 66 here, and Max Verstappen just behind. And we are eagerly anticipating to see if we can see him come in. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen's very racy here. He's on the inside as we come through 13. Sorry, turn 11. Turn 14 here, going onto the straight. He is going to have his DRS available to him.
Starting to lose traction in the rears.
Whatever ERS he's got.
Nope, they're still good.
But we're going to keep our line, and he's not able to get around.
Run here.
On board with Max Verstappen. Where is the 66 slowest? There's Lando. He did make a stop on the last lap, and he should be on a set of new tires. As we are now in the lead with Max Verstappen just behind us.
So the race is right here.
timing shows that Lando Norris, after his pit stop, is 3.5 seconds behind. With that long shot there, you can see that he just pops into the picture with the bright orange car. Max Verstappen here with the Red Bull, still unable to get by the 66 as we are using our ERS to its maximum potential just to stay ahead while he's got his DRS open. There we are. As we come in to start lap 43, you can see our ERS boost activated.
Norris has just put in the fastest lap of the race so far.
I believe Lando is coming to the front, and right now he holds the fastest lap.
Can't shake Verstappen.
That was a look back at Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, maybe just biding his time. Our tires are older than his, so as we close the end of the race, close to the end of the race, he will be faster. Very squirrely there, and to turn 13, just under our wing, crosses the timing line, and he will have his DRS open. Here it is. You can see the speed advantage that he's got, and we are going to take the inside lane here to keep him out. Outbraked ourselves and into the grass into turn 1 and 2, and right now he's just beside us. After a quick flick, he is back in the lead, and the 66 is down to second place. And clearly in the picture now is Lando Norris in the orange McLaren in third place, quickly making up time. So with that little beep, it indicates that we are in the DRS zone, and we are going to get around Max Verstappen before we get into turn 9 and 10. Turn 10 here. So having a look at the status of the vehicle, on the lower right, we are looking for the wear on the tires. But looking at the timing and the steering wheel, you can see here that being behind Max Verstappen for most of that lap, we have lost
the McLarens.
2.2 seconds.
Yep, that is Norris with his new tires. Front tires are going.
On board with Lando Norris, that is Max Verstappen just ahead as we come in through turn 8 here. And both of these cars are going to have their DRS open for the number 66 way ahead. And you can see as Lando Norris here accelerates on the Red Bull, and he looks like he's going to sweep right into the 66, but runs out of time, runs out of space. Another DRS zone here. Both cars having their wings open, right up to the 66, and under the bumper to challenge.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Lando Norris got around Verstappen.
So down the main straight,
So
we're
he should
going to
be coming pretty
utilize
hot.
our ERS. Watch the inside of turn 1. So on your screen, 1, 2, and 3 for the race. And I believe flashing in at the distance of our view is a white car, and hopefully that's Kamui in 4th place. We'll have to wait for the time to come back up. But right now we are very busy with the very fast McLaren, and he's got new tires on. Now, oh, very close there. I don't know if he actually hit the car. So Lando Norris has a set of the medium tires, as he did use 2 white tires earlier in the race. And if he did hit the 66, obviously there's no damage to his car as he keeps racing. Verstappen here alongside Lando Norris into turn 1. It's going to be 2 by 2 and to turn 2. DRS for both cars as the 66 remains ahead.
So it's possible that in his chase, maybe his tires got hot.
He may also have wing damage that we can't see. Right now it does look like he's got both end plates. But a few laps ago it did look like he struck the number 66 in the back. Thankfully the rear wing on these cars are very
Verstappen
robust.
got around Norris.
Looking back from the 66 at 2 and 3, the race is on. Everybody's made their pits. And we are still within a second of each other. So we're waiting to see if the other 2 cars are going to be able to mount a comeback here to the front. They are still within DRS.
10 laps.
That's turn 11, turn 12, turn 13 here. 10 laps to go. here that we're using our ERS all the way down to 1%. As we drive, it's going to build up to 10%. And then we're going to use it again very briefly at the end of the straight, just to maintain speed before we hard brake. In the lead here on lap 49 of 58, there are back markers just coming into view.
So I got the fastest lap on that lap, and right behind me, Lando Norris took it back. So he is trucking. There he is.
Eight left to go. Lando Norris is coming back. And you can see here at the closing laps of the race, we had actually spent about 5 or 6 laps trying to save fuel, build it up a little bit, and we are going to need every bit of that here. And the car will actually burn more fuel as you use the ERS on the higher RPM ranges as you are accelerating out. So it is important to have a surplus of fuel. Again, very close here for 1, 2, and 3. Back markers are coming. A little slip there on the exit. Out of turn 7, you can see here that Lando Norris is just to our side. Max Verstappen as well. And it looks like both cars have gotten away right now. Into turn 9 and 10, we are keeping our place in front of Max Verstappen. So lap 51 and 58, we have just lost the lead to Lando Norris in a very fast car with much newer tires. Have our DRS available to us along the main straight.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 18.6 seconds.
We seem to have a little bit of an advantage there over Lando Norris on the straight. He should also have his ERS available. It's looks like he kind of brake checked us there. Still looking for damage on the HUD, not showing anything, and we're just going to keep racing on.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now, everything's looking good.
Another back marker here. Looking at the timing, it looks like Lando Norris is getting away. He's about 1.5 seconds now. Turn 11 that we just went through is actually our most difficult part for us as a driver. It's hard to gauge exactly how much you need to slow down, but you need to prepare yourself for the exit here along the main straight. Lando Norris now 2.1 seconds ahead. drive aggressively here, use our ERS as much as possible. Out of his DRS for sure. And it may be that he is just driving away with the race right now. Didn't have DRS available to us on that last stretch from 8 to 9. However, we were able to make up a lot of time here and cut down that lead to 1.1 seconds. Again, looking at the camera, we are ever closer to Lando Norris in the McLaren. That is one of the Haas, a back marker that we just passed by. Coming through the main straight, we do have our DRS available. Now less than a second behind Lando Norris. Lap 54 of 58. Going to have to wisely use our ERS here. And run very to run very consistent laps. Looking back from Lando Norris.
No
that
DRS.
is the 66.
He's run flat as well.
The little white dot on your screen. Coming closer and closer. So that was very close through turn 11, and if we can keep this distance, we may have DRS available to us as we cross the timing line coming into the main straight. We should have it available. There we are. There are two blue lights on
Okay,
the upper
catching the car ahead, but remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres.
upper right of the steering wheel, and when one of them lights up, that means that
Okay,
we are in
car
the
behind is
DRS.
dropping back. We're seeing a gap starting to form.
Two of them lit up means that we have our rear wing open. There's also an audible beep that lets you know that you are in the zone and you can open the wing. Once you do, the second blue light will come on. So we are now very close to Lando Norris, and we're going to see if we can mount a pass here coming in through 7, 8, and we're going to enter a DRS zone here. And so far, this has been the fastest part for the number 66. So you can see here that we are now around him and to the right. So we finally made a pass on Lando Norris. And we are restoring the lead for the 66. Coming in through 13 and 14 here, we are going to close off lap 55 and start 56. That is Lando Norris, again with newer medium tires. It's very possible that his tires had fallen off just a little bit, while our hard tires have maintained their grip for a longer time. So with just a couple of laps to go, he is going to be looking for a place to pass if he can get close enough. Max Verstappen has fallen out of the picture, just a little dark dot on the horizon, if you can see him along the long shots here. very close through turn 11. And if he can maintain his position right here, he will have DRS available to him along the main straight. We have just 14 or 15% of ERS available to us. We do not have DRS, and he will be faster by the time we get to the end of the straight. We're going to keep the inside lane and prevent him from coming around, taking the shorter route around turn 1.
Just gotta back him up.
He's got DRS available to him again, and the track is just not wide enough right now. And with the closing 2 laps of the race, you can bet that we're trying not to make any mistakes at all. We want to cover every braking zone and exit zone. Make sure that he doesn't have an advantage. Obviously, along the straights, we want to make sure that we've got enough ERS. Oh, very wide exit there through turn 11. We were on the curves and in a little bit into the gravel. We did accidentally just back him up though with a very slow exit. However, he's still with us. Down the main straight again, he will be racing us. And we are going to be starting our final lap, I believe. Yes, this is the final lap. And from the T-cam of Lando Norris, gonna watch to make sure that we have an opportunity if the 66 should make a slight mistake anywhere along the track. Right now we are covering every side of the track to make sure that Lando Norris does not have an opportunity to come by. He will have the DRS available to him here, and you can see him just speed up. We're going to take the inside lane coming into turn 9, and that will prevent him from coming around by going longer route around the turn. So we remain ahead out of turn 10. DRS available again. We're keeping the inside. We're going to prevent him from coming around. Obviously, these turns are not wide enough for a pass. And he's not going to be able to gather enough speed here. Coming out of turn 14. Final time down the straight. He's got his DRS open. And right now, not enough speed.
Yeah.
Very lovely drive. On to the next one.
That was a tough one. I knew it was going to be a tough one.
So that is a win.
Fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserved that race win. Well done, mate.
So from the pole to the finish, we take this race flag to flag.
A great race then, and a fantastic victory here at Albert Park.
And it's one thing to win, but to win like that in total dominant style, that was a fantastic drive, and it is not one that we see very often.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Well, that was certainly a deserving finish as we fought tooth and nail with Max Verstappen and Lando Norris for the finish, and it was certainly worth it. That's going to do it for the Australian Grand Prix. Thanks for watching if you've made it this far. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to this channel on YouTube or on Facebook, also as Driving Immersion. We'll see you next time.